Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to talk about money habits keeping you poor. Today we are going to talk bad money habits that you should break right now. Like brushing your teeth or getting enough sleep, the first step to developing effective financial habits is to break out of the bad ones. Number 1. Not actively saving. The first bad money habit I see is where people don't choose to actively set aside and save a proportion of their wages. They get their pay packet at the end of each month. They pay their rent and their bills, and then they use the rest to eat out, go shopping, go clubbing, and so on. And then by the third or fourth week of the month, they think, oh, I should probably start saving. They see what's left over in their account and realize there's not much, if anything at all. Now, I'm not saying to kill every element of fun that you have with a bid to save more money each month, but what I'm saying is give yourself a solid understanding of your spending habits. Overspending on non-essentials. There are a number of ways you might be spending on non-essentials that build up over the course of a month. Impulse purchases can add up. Then, before you realize it, you have already spent much more than you intended on these non-essentials items you don't really need. If you are a frequent window shopper, consider this strategy to help overcome the habit. Next time you see a non-essential item you want to buy, write it down on a piece of paper or your phone's note app and wait a few days before buying it. After the time passes, you might find that you no longer have a desire for the item and you can save what you would have spent on it. Frequent use of credit card. These days, with the rise of online shopping and the movement away from cash, owning a credit card is pretty much a standard procedure. Now, credit cards can be a great tools to have in order to build your credit score and to benefit from things such as cashback and cheap business class flights. But unfortunately, due to their high spending allowances and ease of use, many people develop the bad money habit of consistently buying what they can't afford and racking up lots of bad expensive debt as a result. Credit card debt has an average interest of 22%, meaning that if you don't plan to pay off your credit card bills and balance in full at the end of each month, you are going to be paying huge interest costs and fees that frankly are unnecessary. You are basically flushing money that you have earned down the toilet, most likely just to allow you to buy a non-essential item that you probably could have waited a few more months for. Number 4. Letting debt accumulate. Personal loan debt, student loan debt, and credit card debt are some of the factors that might contribute to your overall debt. If you let these balances accumulate and only pay off the minimum each month, you will end up paying more in interest over time and delaying your ability to overcome debt and start saving more. To break out the debt, first make a list of all the debts you have, their annual interest rates, and when their payments are due. Then you can begin working on a plan to find more room in your budget to make payments towards those debts. Number 5. Having no emergency fund. Many may not be contributing to an emergency fund at all, or have ended up prioritizing other saving goals, leaving little to their emergency fund. Though higher inflation has made budgets tight, it's still important to make room for emergency savings. These savings are what help to ensure that you can cover unexpected expenses and avoid piling on more debt by paying for such expenses using a credit card or loan. To start building an emergency saving fund, see where you can make minor changes across different categories of your budget to stash more, and also save any windfalls such as a tax refund. Consider keeping your emergency savings in online saving account, since these accounts tend to have much more higher return than traditional saving accounts. Number 6. Relying on cash advances. While cash advances may be necessary in some cases to make ends meet, relying on them too often can lead to an endless cycle of debt. Cash advances might include early payday loans, overdraft protection, or buy now, pay later services. They all have one thing in common: make you to spend money you don't currently have. Cash advances can make it feel like you are spending free money, but they all require you to pay the advance back eventually, and you might end up struggling to do so, building up greater debt and financial stress. They also frequently come with costly fees. Instead of relying on cash advances, consider other ways you can make room for expenses. Number 7. Not paying attention to savings account rates. You might not realize how much interest rates fluctuate in saving accounts, but the gap between the lowest and the highest saving rates has been growing wider and wider. Today, some of the highest return accounts have annual percentage of 5%, while many traditional big banks are still only offering 0.01% on their saving accounts. According to the recent survey, 16% of Americans say they are earning no interest, while 14% say they are unsure what their interest rate is. If you don't know your own saving account rate, you likely don't know what other financial institutes are offering on their accounts and what you might be missing out on. Moreover, if you have multiple saving accounts, paying attention to how each of their interest rate varies will help you determine where to keep more of your savings to maximize the return you are getting. These are the bad saving habits that make you poor, and the bottom line is our financial well-being is heavily influenced by our habits. Recognizing these habits is the first step to reshaping your financial narrative. The process towards financial well-being isn't about perfection, but rather learning from past errors and making consistent improvement. By consciously adopting better money practices, you can actively choose a path of informed decision and financial growth.